Well, they've gone and ruddy done it. Arsenal have got their man, Viktor Gyökeres. Here we go to the Arsenal. Well, I mean, it felt like it was going to happen. It was bound to happen. The player himself only had eyes for Arsenal. He wanted to go to North London. I'm not sure what his options were in the end. Probably Man United may have been there for him because of Ruben Amorim. Of course, he had a relationship with the coach. I don't know if United had the finances to buy him. I'm sure he had offers in Saudi, and it was such a fascinating transfer saga because on the surface of it, it just seemed like such an obvious choice for so many clubs. He scored so many goals, but in the end, there wasn't really any reporting of any clubs actively going for him. And indeed, Arsenal, really, Mikel Arteta wanted, Isak. Shock horror, everyone wants Isak. But then, Mikel Arteta really wanted Benjamin Sesko. It was the sporting director, the new sporting director, Berta, who came in, who pushed for Viktor Gyökeres. So I found it fascinating for a player who scored a lot of goals, not to have such a big clamour for him. Maybe people will put off, even though it's not that much money, really, in the grand scheme of things. But the deal's done. I find it fascinating. I must say, as a rival fan, you think, oh, Arsenal have got a good striker. But I am actually really just looking forward to seeing him in the Premier League as well. Just another elite forward. I'm trying to remove my blue tinted lenses and just look at it from a Premier League product. All right, cool. We're already good in the Premier League. He's a bagsman. He's a gunman. Is he going to come and score loads of goals for Arsenal? I mean, just looking at him, it's even if he doesn't live up to the hype, I cannot see this guy flopping personally. We're going to get into it today. Welcome back to Football Yannick, daily content here on this channel. So thank you so much for the continued support, for liking the videos. If you are watching and you're yet to subscribe, jump on board, mate. Hop aboard the good ship, Yannick, Football Yannick. What's this freaking YouTube channel called? So yes, we move. We've since got the here we go from Romano, but David Ornstein earlier today wrote, Arsenal and Sporting are on the verge of total agreement for Gyokeres. Of course, it's done. Now, a deal worth 63.5 million euros, which is 54.8, so 55 million pounds, plus 8.6 million in, it's his future bonuses. Which I guess goal tallies, I suppose, rather than So if they are achievable, what's that? Still only just over 63 million pounds. It doesn't seem it seems it's a significant fee for a player who's played it outside a top 5 league and maybe hasn't got resale value. How old is Viktor Gyökeres? He's in the sweet spot for his prime, but I don't think Arsenal would get any. Yeah, so he's 27. There's not going to be any sellability. It's this 5-year deal that he does that. That's his sweet spot. That's what you're paying for. Issues remained over the nature of the achievability and contingency payments, which caused a delay in the deal finally being finalised. Talks to resolve that are now on extremely advanced stage, now done. With a conclusion imminent, yada yada yada, we know it's done now. He focused on joining Arsenal, and despite interest from elsewhere, I'm pretty keen to know what that is, he did not consider any other team. The 27-year-old Swede, and by the way, I don't know if it will be included in this article, but he was willing to forego or put in some of his own money. He really wanted this move. The 27-year-old Sweden international's agent has also waived his commission to help the switch, while a contract until June 2030 has been prepared. There you go, 5-year deal, which will take him to 32 years old. Frederico Varandas, the president of the Portuguese club, said on July the 12th that Gyokeres would be issued a heavy fine and told to apologise to his Sporting teammates after the Swede missed the deadline to report back to pre-season. Yeah, he did a Thibaut Courtois at Chelsea, refusing to turn up to pre-season. Gyokeres has been one of Europe's most in-demand strikers this summer. See, like, who was in? It says he was the most in demand, but who was in for him? Like, United actively in for him. I'm just trying to think, because Chelsea had him on the list, but I don't think for that money, you know what Chelsea are like, for a 27-year-old, I don't think they wanted to pay that much money for him. I mean, I don't know. I suppose if you offered him to like Champions League clubs all over Europe, that they'd want him. So maybe that's what they mean, like everyone would want him. I just don't know who was actually actively able to pursue him, if that makes sense. Yeah, but listen to this. He scored 54 goals in 52 matches for Sporting last season, which is quite frankly ridiculous. Like, there is a top scorer chart in Europe. I'm sorry, that governs all the European players in Europe playing. And it was given to Kylian Mbappe because the league, who scored, I think, also definitely less, possibly significantly less, but definitely less goals than Viktor Gyökeres. But because he's playing in a higher league, the goals, are worth more. Like, Viktor Gyökeres' goals were worth, like, each goal was like 0.75 of a goal, which is like a silly metric. I mean, he's scoring where he is and against who's in front of him. I did hear something on one of the Athletic Football podcasts talking about the teams that he scored against. Like, in those goals in Portugal, in the league, only a couple of the goals came against a top 100 European ranked team, which is very interesting to hear. Again, he can only score against who's in front of him. But obviously when he goes to the Premier League, they are going to be probably like 13 of the top 20 in the world or something in the Premier League level of competition of defenders, of goalkeepers, going to be different gravy granules. But I reckon he's equipped to deal with it. Just looking at him, that's another thing. Like, this is when you buy strikers from the Bundesliga, you might be getting like a Timo Werner who had a really hot season. Do you know what I mean? Or someone a bit more diminutive and slight. Like, no one's really unsure how Ekitike is going to do it at Liverpool, who cost a lot of money. And you can have reservations. Oh, it's a transitional league, and they're just, they can have the space to run into. They're not going to have the space at their new club. They're going to be playing against low blocks. It's way more physical than the Bundesliga. I mean, not only has he played in the Championship before, Viktor Gyökeres, but he is a freaking ripped, bro. He's a tank. So he just simply can't he just won't and can't get bullied, simply. He was identified as Arsenal's preferred target. Arsenal were without a recognised number 9, of course. They had Kai Havertz, Gabby Jesus, and they finished the Premier League for the third consecutive season. Second for the third consecutive season. 10 points behind Liverpool, and they've scored 17 fewer goals. So he was at Brighton. He left to Coventry City for £1 million in 2021. Doesn't seem that long ago, does it? 4 years later, going for much, much more. But then again, he went from the Championship to Sporting in 2023 for £17 million. So, I mean, that's a huge profit for Coventry. They've multiplied it by 17, bought for 1 million, sold for 17 billion. And that's a great sale for a Championship club. In terms of the revenue, that's great revenue, man. That's peas for a Championship club. He recorded 97 goals and 28 assists, achieving for the club, helping them to consecutive league titles. And the Taça de Portugal last season. Arsenal have been active in the first transfer window, led by the new sporting director, Andrea Berta. And of course, Andrea Berta has been reported to be the driving force on the Viktor Gyökeres deal. And of course, they sort of moved away from the previously and heavily scouted and profiled Benjamin Sesko, who, Arteta reportedly really likes. So they've signed Zubimendi, Nordgaard, and Kepa, and Noni Madueke from Chelsea, and Valencia defender Mosquera is going to join as well. So they've made a few signings already. The Arsenal fans will probably tell you they would like a starting level high quality left winger, right-footed left winger. Noni Madueke is really high quality backup. for Saka on the right. You know, they're very similar. He can play on the left nonny, but surely that's not the plan. So that if you told an Arsenal fan, yeah, now you're going to sign like a good left winger, I think ultimately they'd be very, very happy with the window. And for all the noise against Noni Madueke and, the petitions not to sign him and the Arteta out graffiti and all the drama, I think if you had a big boy conversation with them and said, actually, looking back now, do you think Noni Madueke makes you better? I think a lot of them will probably say, yeah, actually, he's great to have him, because Saka... They were without him for 3 months last campaign because they play him too much. And imagine, A, you prevent that injury because you can rest him with Noni Madueke, or B, God forbid he gets another injury, you can bring in really decent right-sided player in Noni Madueke. Of course, they got Ethan Nwaneri, but he's an inside attacking midfielder, that's where they want to develop him, and that's where he does his best work. That is his profile. So... yeah, he should be the deputy to an Odegaard, in my opinion. From the outside looking in. So look, yeah, man, this is a massive, massive deal. It's really, I think it's a great signing. Again, the whole saga I found fascinating. Personally, I genuinely feel like it's, I'm just so intrigued because for me, like, he just seems like he scores so many goals. He's I don't want to keep talking about his physique, but he's ripped. I think that is important that he's not going to get beaten up in the Premier League, and I just feel like it just feels wild that there's not been more I don't know, clamour for him, more of a bidding war. And again, he, like many others, is going to be. Loads of people in Fantasy Premier League are going to buy Erling Haaland again, even though he's going to cost them such a massive chunk of their budget. They're going to buy Alexander Isak again. They are going to, I'm just trying to watch strikers here. And then obviously it's going to be like, again, I'm not sure Joao Pedro at Chelsea. He's going to be more of an interchangeable false nine. I don't think he's going to be like this banker of 20 Premier League goals, although I think he's a really excellent signing for Chelsea. And of course he's very young. But, and then it's going to be the new boys, Ekitike and Gyokeres. I think out of the two, of course, Ekitike is young. Gyokeres is 27. And Gyokeres, you're going to sort of bank on really hitting the ground running, man. Like, because he's a bagsman. I just can't see it failing. I know loads of people are like, well, he scored 50, how many goals it was already forgotten last season. He's going to score like 35 goals in the Prem, being fed by progressive passes and no, but I can't see Viktor Gyökeres scoring any less because he's not going to be on penalties, is he? Unless he demands to be on penalties. Is that part of it? Like, who was on penalties before? Was it Saka? I can't remember. I can't even remember. Maybe he is in a position to be like, yeah, striker on penalties, want to score loads of goals. Let's go and win this thing. So maybe he is. I genuinely can't see him scoring any less than 20. Like, I think he could be in the golden boot race with a Haaland, provided Haaland doesn't go absolutely sick again. I'm only saying that because I don't think Haaland will do like 36 goals. I think Haaland will be between, 24 and 28 or something. So he could be in the golden boot race and, that's kind of what they're paying for and that's kind of what they bought. Viktor Gyökeres, massive, massive signing, man. And yeah, I suppose begrudgingly, congratulations, Arsenal. Hopefully he doesn't do well for us rivals, but either way, it's going to be box office. And I know, as a Chelsea fan, the season's only just finished, but I'm already really excited for the new Premier League campaign. What does it mean for Havertz? I've already done a video talking about when this deal was developing. I was like, what's going to go for Havertz? Is Arteta again going to try and move him back into that number 8? Is he going to, well, he hasn't changed tactics for, a couple of years now. Maybe he's going to try something like Liverpool are doing, go to a 4-2-3-1, maybe. Not that accommodates Havertz more. You play an Odegaard or Nwaneri in the number 10 over Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz might be cooked. He might just be the B team striker, which Arsenal will be very happy to have because they've been severely lacking. And just Gabriel Jesus still knocking about as well. Man. Anyway, let me know your thoughts are. Huge blockbuster signing. There's just no way around that. This is a huge signing. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your feelings. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. It's going to be epic.